Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Big Lee's World Podcast. It is I, your host, Big Lee, coming to you live from the Boom Boom Room right here in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And today I have a very special guest with me. But before I get into that, I want to get into our last episode on here, the history of CCW, year one. I want to thank everybody that has sent me positive feedback and all the love and all the support. I want to thank y'all very much for that. I really appreciate it. A lot of people have said it's a great trip down memory lane, and I really appreciate hearing all that love and support. So thank you for that. And like I said, today I have a special guest with me, the host and founder, owner, CEO, all that fun jazz of Four Sides Podcast. I have with me today Mr. Caleb Carter. Caleb, thanks for being here, and thanks for being a part of the Big Leagues World Podcast.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
See, like I told you, didn't get a minute into it and already take the headset out.
Yeah. That happens.
So, welcome. So I guess first things first, what made you decide to get into podcasting?
Well, I kind of got into podcasting for the same reason you did, and it was just kind of to tell my stories and my side of just wrestling in general. I've been to wrestling events in the St. Louis area, been to Chicago, Nashville. Actually started going to wrestling here in Cape with CCW and all that.
The conceal and carry place?
Yeah, that's it.
That joke never gets old.
That's the one.
As a person that was used to be the monitor of the CCW Twitter and Instagram, you'd be surprised how many people would find our post from the actually the CCW being the conceal and carry license, and they'd actually look and we get the DMs that are like, "Wait, well, this isn't about guns." It's like, nope, it's about wrestling. Sorry. So now you said about you got into the same reasons I did for podcasting. Where can people find out about what my thoughts of why I got into podcasting?
My thoughts?
No, mine.
Your thoughts? You can listen to the episode 1 of the Big Leagues World, or the introduction. Is that it?
So we're also going to teach Caleb about plugging here. This you can actually hear my thoughts of why I got into podcasting on the at the time this comes out. It will probably be the latest episode of the Four Sides Podcast.
Oh, yeah, we just actually recorded that.
That's right. Where can we find the Four Sides Podcast?
Well, you can find the Four Sides Podcast on Anchor. You can find it on Spotify, SoundCloud. Working on getting it on iTunes and stuff. But
yeah, these young kids these days and their SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Hey, so what made you, like, that's a side question to all this. Like, what made you go through SoundCloud? Because, like, when I think of SoundCloud, like, I think of mumble rappers.
So, funny story. I don't really talk about this a lot anymore, but...
You used to be a mumble rapper.
No, not a mumble rapper. I used to actually produce some music. Like, I wasn't really good when I started. I would just take random dubstep tracks and put them on top of each other and be like, hey, that's music. But, like, as I progressed, I actually got into, like, there's a website you can go on. It's soundation.com. It's basically like GarageBand. And you can get on there and just mess around. And I would actually make some pretty decent stuff. I made, like, some hip-hop beats and stuff like that. And just the easiest way to kind of put my stuff online was SoundCloud. Now, this was like probably close to 5 years ago, and since then I haven't really done a lot of working with audio, so just, I guess in a way that's just an easy way for me to kind of get back into the groove. Does that make sense?
No, makes sense. So you're talking about that now. When did you first do you have any first memories of wrestling or how you really got into it, become a fan?
So like I heard about wrestling growing up and stuff, but I think I first became like an active fan of wrestling in like 2006. We was actually doing some renovations on our upstairs because we actually lived in Daisy, that's outside of Oak Ridge.
Mm-hmm.
And a tree decided it wanted to fall through our roof. So we was doing some renovations upstairs. We had a bed set up for me in the kitchen. And of course,
that's a living dream right there. A bed in the kitchen?
Bed in the kitchen, yeah. I can just get up and get a soda at night and
Man,
not
that's
have
the
to...
American dream.
Yeah, but anyways, I was a kid, so obviously I had a bedtime, and whenever I would be laying there trying to go to sleep, my dad would be watching wrestling in the front room, and I'm like, this sounds pretty cool. I might try to watch this sometime. So just one night, I guess I was just like, hey Dad, can I watch this with you for a little bit? And it was Monday Night Raw, back whenever the John Cena and Edge feud was kind of going on, and he's like, okay, you can watch an hour of it, but you'll have to go to bed at your normal bedtime. So we just watched it, and I got into it. I had a friend at school who was biggest John Cena mark. He would actually wear the wristbands to school. Would get made fun of it, but I mean, obviously things probably different nowadays than they were back then. And I went to school in the middle of nowhere, so that just makes everything so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can relate to that, growing up in a small Boot Hill town. My graduating class, if I remember right, I think it had either 16 or 24 kids in it. So, wow. You know, about that small town living.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that's kind of how I first got into wrestling. Like, as a kid, I had an N64 that my aunt bought me, and it came with a bunch of games, and there was like WCW, NWO Revenge, and WWF Warzone, and I would play those games, but like, I would watch wrestling whenever I kind of got into middle school and junior high, and I would see Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and be like, hey, that's the guy I played as on Warzone. Or, oh my god, that's Kane? Where did his mask go?
Oh god, I remember that angle, him losing that mask.
Yeah.
That was
2002.
Yeah, no man. What was your first wrestling show you went to?
My first wrestling show, like indie show, or just overall?
Just overall.
My first wrestling show overall was...
Or would you prefer it to be referred to its natural name? Rasslin show.
Rasslin show. I'll do my first wrestling show, and then I'll do my first wrestling show. How about that? Okay. My first wrestling show was... It's just a house show here in Cape. It was 2009 SummerSlam tour, I think. Main event of that show, I think it was Randy Orton and Legacy against John Cena, Triple H, and Mark Henry. It was Mark Henry, because I remember him giving me a high five. And being a little shit back in the day, sort of, I remember Jack Swagger and Funny, it was Carleo. And I just actually met Carleo a couple weeks ago, and he was a cool guy. But just being a kid, not knowing about wrestling and stuff. When Jack Swagger and Carleo lost their matches and walked to the back, I just give him a little bird.
Yeah, I don't know if that's for WWE product these days. I think that's kind of frowned upon.
I think that's kind of whenever they was going from the TV-14 to the PG rating they have now.
When they were trying to kill the business.
Yeah, but that was my first wrestling show. I was disappointed that Jericho and Shawn Michaels weren't there, because those were two of my favorites. That's whenever Jericho was the tag team champions with Big Show, Jericho, and Jericho was on SmackDown. It was a Raw show, so it was just Big Show was there. And actually seeing Big Show in person versus seeing him on TV is just wow. And I'm just looking up at him. I'm like, holy cow, I know this guy is like 7 feet tall, but oh my god, he's 7 feet tall. It's different seeing these guys in person versus on TV. But anyways, my first wrestling show. Well, first of all, how do you define wrestling?
Just go by your natural instinct. What you feel is your first wrestling show.
Wrestling show. I don't mean anything bad by this, but probably the first CCW show.
I was wondering if he was hesitating saying that.
I was for a little bit. I mean, obviously, I don't consider CCW to be wrestling anymore, but like, I love CCW. They've done a lot for me, just getting me exposed to. I mean, just whenever I saw the announcement that CCW was first starting, it's like, oh my God, wrestling is coming to Cape. That's so awesome. Because a couple years before that, I was in the arena building for my grandma was doing a craft show, and I was just helping her carry stuff in. And this was around the time I was really, really getting into Ring of Honor. I'm like, what if Cape started a wrestling company and did stuff in the arena building? And then 2 years later, it happens.
So I can actually tell you that before CCW started, the last actual wrestling, like indie wrestling event was at the arena building.
Was it the NWA show?
No, so the NWA show was at the South Rec Center.
Oh, okay.
So this was after that. It was let me see if I get this right. WWCW or WCWW or something like that. Anyways, I think the guy went to jail over some illegal activities, we'll say that. But it was, I remember the main event had Eric Young in it, and they had a special meet and greet with Bobby Eaton, beautiful Bobby Eaton. And then, like I said, I think that's the last remembrance of a wrestling show here in Cape, besides your WWE.
Right.
And
TNA a few times, or a couple times.
Yeah, I think the first TNA show had already happened by the time of this, so it was. So you didn't make it to the South Rec show?
No, I didn't. I was probably still in high school, or
so it'd been like 2008, I think.
Oh, I was in junior high.
Yeah. So you don't get to say that not only got to see the Young Bucks in Cape Girardeau, but you got to see the last title change after the historical split when NWA left TNA and they had to pull all their belts off of the TNA talent and put them on actual NWA traveling, and it was Awesome Kong who was the NWA Women's Champion.
Yeah, I remember.
Against Mischief.
Yeah, I remember seeing I think I was watching Raw one night and I saw a commercial and I was like, is this real or is this a scam? Is Awesome Kong really coming to Cape?
Yep, she sure did. She was super nice. I'm old, so I was in college then, so. But, yeah, I was going to say, that's the two indie shows I can really remember going to here. And then, of course, I went to the two TNA shows. And, the TNA shows was a trip. Like, I got to meet, the first one they had. I got to meet, the Beautiful People. They came out to the, before the show, they came out to a little area where everybody hangs out at. You got a picture with them, and then they had a lot of the smaller guys after the end of the night come out to ringside to meet people. So they get to meet, like, who was it? Jeremy Borash, I think Earl Hefner, Shark Boy, and ODB.
Oh, that's cool.
And then the Fiasco, the second TNA show, they only had like 5 or 6 matches, and then everybody got to go backstage to meet them. And the only person you didn't get to meet was Jeff Hardy, because you had to have like the VIP front row or first couple rows, which we had though. So you got your picture with Jeff, and then you went backstage. Otherwise, you just went straight backstage after shows, and you got to meet like your Bobby Roode, your Kurt Angle, the Dudleys. So it ended up being a pretty sweet ordeal, that you got to meet all of them. So
yeah, that's cool. I wish I would have made it to that one.
Yeah, that was a good time. So your first wrestling show was CCW, and then you've been a true and loyal fan ever since.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've only missed one show, and that was the first Knockout November.
Okay.
I think besides that, I've been to every single one.
Nice. I mean, it sounds like you made more shows than I did. I think I missed 2. The last one, and then the one when I had tickets to go to this venue in St. Louis called the Pageant to go see Korn, which is like one of my all-time favorite bands. So
I saw Korn when they was in like 2010. It was Mayhem Fest.
I was there.
Yeah, and it started storming during the Korn set. That was awesome.
Yeah, Korn, that was a blast of a night. It's like Korn, Rob Zombie, Lamb of God, and Five Finger on the main stage.
Who would have thought that not even 6 years, it's been 10 years. Holy cow. Seems like that was just yesterday. Who would have thought that two random strangers being at a concert would be sitting on a couch together talking about wrestling 10 years later?
I know, man.
It's funny how the world works.
It is. It's also funny, I heard you're going to bring back Mayhem Fest.
Mayhem Fest? Really?
I heard that. I heard the rumor supposed to be Megadeth and Lamb of God headlining.
Oh yeah, Lamb of God was pretty good live.
Yeah,
I've never seen Megadeth live, but like I don't know if Dave Mustaine would be.
I'm not a big Megadeth fan.
That's fair.
You know, Dave Mustaine, he did some stuff that I'm not a big fan of. Time I was in college and stuff like that, like there was this nice genre of music called deathcore.
Right. And
I think I'll always have animosity towards him because this band that was opening for him was a band called Suicide Silence. And their singer Mitch had his mom backstage at one of the shows. And Dave Mustaine did not feel comfortable, apparently, with her being back there. So he got mad and kicked them off the tour.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't long after that, I think maybe 6 months or a year after that Mitch had died, unfortunately, in a motorcycle accident. So, but I think I've always just had animosity against Dave Mustaine for that.
Sure, I know. I've heard some controversial things about him, but I mean, I just like Megadeth. I just like Megadeth's music, really.
Yeah. See, I was never a big fan of Megadeth's music either, so that's,
Also fair.
What was it? A few friends went up to Moline when they came with Suicidal Tendencies and the Butcher Babies. And I did not go to that show because I didn't want to make that trip because they wanted to stay for Megadeth. And I was like, nah, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
So, man, that's another thing. I wish they'd have more live music in Cape.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to the Godsmack show that was here, but they don't bring that many rock shows here.
Right.
I'm not big into country, so.
Yeah. I mean, there's just a lot of people in this area that are in the country, so that's probably why they bring in more country artists.
Yeah. Maybe Cape Comic Con should look at doing another concert that Comic Con weekend, you think?
That'd be cool. I mean, who would they bring in?
Well, I have an ideal. I'll tell you off the air. I'll tell you who I've been trying to talk with the powers to be over there that maybe should try to get, but
yeah.
Anyways, did you go to the concerts that CCW put on over here?
Oh, the Jeff Hardy one?
Okay.
Yeah, I went to that one.
You did that one, and did you do the other one?
What was the other one?
The other one was Final Drive and, how do you say it? Eurydice.
Oh, was that before the show or after the show?
That was after the women's fight.
Yeah, that's right. I think I stayed for a little bit, but no pun intended. I was talking with Leva Bates and stuff, and I stayed to listen to a little bit. I didn't stay the whole time though.
Hey, see, I had to leave because we had to go pick up Colt Cabana at the airport, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, man, that women's, what was it?
It was
the Luna Vachon Memorial.
Yeah. Mickey Knuckles won that, if I remember correct. That was a fun night. Like that was probably the first time I've had 2 wrestling shows in a weekend.
Really?
Yeah. Because before that, actually, I don't think I was introduced to Glory Pro until later that summer. So that was the time period where it was just strictly CCW for me. I think I might have gone to Stride shows too.
Okay.
But,
when they were in the mall?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing I take away from that women's show, besides all the bad stuff that happened pre-hand with it, was, I don't know if you saw this, but I know it got shared to us that, there was a girl booked on the show who said, she was really excited to meet Luna Vachon. She was a real big inspiration.
Oh, wow.
Best thing is, you probably know who this girl is. Do you remember this? Or was you?
I don't think I've heard this one before.
Yeah. I won't mention any names, but
I mean, I can probably think about who was on the card and just cross off names.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to, these days, she's really hard to miss. She's taking a lot more bookings, and she kind of wears that unicorn head, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah. So, that was an endeavor. I remember getting shared in the group chat, like, wait, is this a real thing? So, I get it, like, overzealous, and we all got a good laugh out of it. But anyways, so you said, so you've been a big CCW fan. You've been to all the shows. You're actually even doing the graphics now for them, correct?
Yes. So originally they was just doing regular posters, and I was like, why not do posters for the matches too?
Right.
So like, because obviously it takes time for the poster to get out, so it'll kind of help wrestlers better advertise their matches. And sometimes just by looking at the poster, you don't really get the matches out of that.
Right.
Like sometimes they put the matches on there, sometimes they don't.
I think, there's no thinking, I know, one of the reasons they did for us, they didn't have anybody to do it. Like, it was hard enough to get a poster done.
Right.
Much less than to get actual, like, match graphics made. So, I know who's a big help coming in doing that.
Yeah, can I actually, so, what kind of made me decide to do that was not just to help out, but there was this post I made before that. I just kind of made a custom poster for the show. It didn't really look that great looking back at it, but it was just, hey, maybe I should do something for the matches. And what kind of made me feel good enough to do that was actually meeting Glacier, because I made a custom picture for Glacier to get signed, and he was talking about how he really liked it and stuff. Told me to add him on Facebook and he'd share it, and it just made me feel confident in my abilities to do something like that.
There you go.
Yeah, shout out to Glacier if you're listening.
Dude, Glacier's awesome.
Glacier's probably one of my favorite people that I've met.
So I have a Glacier story.
All right.
So a lot of times, some of these more established guys, they'll do seminars with some of the up-and-coming wrestlers, and the wrestlers pay a fee, and they come in, they sit under the learning tree, basically.
Yeah.
Wrestlers come in, help them, guide them, give them tips, tricks, things that people are looking for, signers and stuff like that. Like, they look for them to, this is what, hey, we're a signer of talent, this is what we look for. So, with Glacier coming in, we had one, and so, we got, of course, like I told you in the last podcast, there'd be times like they're 10, 11 in the morning at the arena. Well, I get the call that Glacier has to get checked out of his hotel, and they weren't going to let him stay late until Jason could go pick him up. So he's like, hey, can you go pick him up? I was like, yeah, that's fine. And he's like, I probably want to go get something to eat. I was like, that's fine too, because I haven't ate lunch yet. So we go pick him up. We're talking. And instantly, it's just like we click. We just start talking. And go take him to our Arby's to go eat. And we just chit-chat. And we start talking, and I look down and realize, like, oh, wait, well, the seminar starts in about 45 minutes. So he's like, I'll probably get over to the arena. He's like, can we go get a bottle of water? It's like, yeah, that's fine. So go over to the gas station, get a bottle of water, get a car, and come back. And Jason calls. He's like, hey, is everything all right? It's like, what do you mean? He's like, we all aren't here yet. I was like, yeah, I mean, we're headed that way. It's like, they don't start for another, 30, 35 minutes at this point. And he's like, no, it started at this time.
Oh, great.
Like, oh, that's my bad. So I told Glacier, and we laughed and got there. And super nice guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so you did that. And then, so How did your transition go from just CCW fan to getting into more indie companies?
So actually, there's a guy who used to referee for CCW that I became close with, and there was a show going on in the St. Louis area. It was called Glory Pro Wrestling War the New Age. I think that's what it was called. This was kind of around the time where Bullet Club was big, and Cody Rhodes was going to be there. And the guy basically told me, "Hey, I got a spot to referee on the show. Would you want to ride up with me or would you want to go up to the show with me?" Basically, and I was like, "Sure, I'd like to meet Cody Rhodes." And just seeing now at the time, Glory Pro wasn't really about storytelling and stuff like CCW was. It was just more based on the wrestling itself, kind of like PWG, stuff like that. And I was really into that, so I started making Glory Pro a regular thing. So that was kind of my first big wrestling thing outside of CCW.
Man, I remember that show. It was packed in there.
Yeah, I think they sold the place out, actually. It was standing room only.
And then I remember Elgin being so upset because of the way they did tickets.
Yeah.
That everybody thought he was getting ready to cut this promo for Cody. He ended up cutting promo about the ticket sales.
Yeah, I was because I was one of the standing room only, and I think it was Brandon Espinoza was standing behind me, and he was just laughing as Elgin cut the promo.
Yeah, because I remember that meet and greet line for Cody Rhodes was long.
That thing was packed.
Because he even had the Ring of Honor belt with him. I remember that.
Yeah, he was the champion.
Yeah, so that was a good show. Then I was trying to remember, I don't think I'd went to another one then until they did the first Besties and Lucha Bros match at Alton.
Yeah, that was my next one too. I think Shane Strickland was there too. He was a cool. That was actually
Mark Haskins.
Yeah, Mark Haskins was there, but this was kind of after Shane Strickland did the match with AR Fox on Lucha Underground, where I think he took that. Let me try to remember. Oh yeah, he went through that glass table, and you could see welts on his back from that.
I just remember at the time Strickland was the CZW champion.
Yeah, he was.
It's kind of funny how Glory Pro always brings in the CZW champion.
Who is the CZW champion?
Joe Gacy.
Joe Gacy. Okay, we'll be seeing him at Glory Pro sometime.
Dude,
soon.
I hope. So KLD, if you're listening to this, please bring in Joe Gacy. Because Joe Gacy, I think, he's involved too.
Yeah.
Part of the Unwanted with Eddie Kingston and apparently, I guess Colby Carino's not in it anymore.
Okay. That's another one I haven't really kept up with either, is Evolve.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's so hard to keep up with everything nowadays.
It's because they're not on IWTV.
This is true. That's one of my big ones.
It's a big time waster. Yeah, what I call it.
Yeah, hashtag bring Evolve to IWTV.
Really? I don't think that'll happen.
I don't think so either, but I mean...
I think if it goes anywhere, it goes to the WWE Network.
I mean, that wouldn't be the worst thing either.
I don't have a WWE Network login anymore. You know. I mean, I'd rather much have hashtag bring Joe Gacy to Glory Pro.
There we go. We'll go with that one.
So, KLD, if you could make that happen, be much appreciated.
Absolutely, yes.
But yeah, so no, dude, you want to hear a wild story?
Sure.
So, the last CZW show was Cage of Death. And so one of the matches on there before Cage of Death was they had Matt, what is his name? Is it Matt Bentley? Something like that.
That sounds familiar.
He was part owner of CZW, and he had Joe Gacy represent and DJ Hyde, the other part owner of CZW, he had Tremont represent him. And what they did was they had Gacy versus Tremont for the belt. Tremont won, he got the belt. If Gacy won, then DJ Hyde was gone from CZW.
Oh, okay.
So the idea is, you have Gacy heel and Tremont face. Well, it ends up being a really weird ordeal because everybody wanted DJ Hyde gone. But they were also supposed to boo Gacy. And it's just like, well, wait a minute here. None of this really adds up working the way it is. Gacy cuts a promo starting out. He's like, just lay down, Tremont, and give the fans what they really want is DJ Hyde gone. So it was just one of them really awkward situations, but Gacy ended up going over and keeping the belt. So now this is supposed to start the new revolution of CZW, which at the time of recording this, we have CZW tonight, which the only match I know about it is the Masada and Casanova Valentine in the No Rope Barbed Wire.
All right, yeah.
Speaking of extremely nice people, you ever met Casanova Valentine?
Casanova Valentine. I don't think I have.
Extremely nice guy.
Okay.
10 out of 10 recommend. I was hoping to have him to come to CCW before this whole sellout thing happened, and so I don't necessarily think that'll happen, but he was a super nice guy. So with that, we're getting back here to the timeline. So you start going to Glory Pro. Now, so you get pretty big into Glory Pro as well, correct?
Yeah, I consider that probably I would say St. Louis area, but they run out Illinois, so that's probably my Illinois home.
Yeah.
My Illinois wrestling home. That and St. Louis Anarchy, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. So do you do any kind of outside work with Glory Pro?
No. Well, probably the most. Are you talking about like graphics wise or?
Yeah, just like anything like that with graphics.
I haven't done graphics for them. I know for last year and for 2018 and 2019, I've done the Glory Pro year-end awards for them, and that was just kind of my own thing, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I seen them put it over. I didn't know if it was part of theirs or...
No, that's just something I just kind of randomly decided to do myself, and I guess they just went with it.
Okay. So, but besides Glory Pro, you said about Anarchy, St. Louis Anarchy. What used to be what was Anarchy, then went to NWL, and then went back to Anarchy.
Yeah.
Well, did you ever go to an NWL show?
No, I never made it up there because at the time my vehicle just wasn't reliable enough to do the wrestling traveling that I do nowadays.
I gotcha. I never made it to one either.
Yeah, I heard that. I don't know, just from some people I've talked to, I hear that they just wanted too much for the tickets or something like that.
I think that and the fact that they signed up all this St. Louis indie talent and they made them change their name. Yeah.
To Jake Durden to Jake Foster, was it?
I think so, yeah. And it's just kind of like, how do you you have this opportunity, you have all this great talent with these names on it.
It's like, why change their names?
Yeah, that just seems bad business, which apparently I guess is kind of what they were known for.
Yeah, I've heard. I don't know the whole story of NWL, but I've heard. I'm just going off of what I've heard from other people.
Apparently, the way I understood, it was a big money Mark bought a wrestling company, and
yeah, that sounds about right.
So Anarchy, I've never personally been to an Anarchy show. I will be going to my first one February 21st in Alton for the In Your House, which they used to actually run a side thing. It was called PWCS, Pro Wrestling Championship Series, and what they would do is they would have different teams. Like you'd have a team of 4 people, and so on. Mm-hmm. And I've been to one of their shows in Granite City.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they've discontinued that, and that's kind of how the In Your House or In Your Hall. We don't want to get anybody copyrighted.
So it's here. In Your Hall.
In Your Hall, yeah.
Okay.
So they're doing Strong Style Series, which is just a tournament for, like, they got Daniel Maccabi coming in. I hope I didn't butcher that name, by the way.
I thought it was Maccabi.
Maccabi, yeah. Kurt Stallion, Gary J, Aaron Williams, which I put over Aaron Williams the other day on my Twitter after his match with Thomas Shire at the January show. I think he's one of the most underrated wrestlers in the country right now.
And I'm excited, like I said on the other podcast, that the Pitbull, Brett Ison,
yes,
making his St. Louis debut. So that should be a barn burner, whoever they put against him.
I think it's him and I'm trying to remember. I know it's Thomas Shire and Maccabi. It's Gary J and Eric Stevens, Kurt Stallion and Jake. It might be Brett Ison and Aaron Williams. I think I got it on my phone, actually.
That would be pretty good, because I don't know if Aaron Williams is still the IWA Mid-South Heavyweight Champion. I think he may be.
Might be.
I heard,
yeah, it is Brett Ison versus Aaron Williams.
Nice.
That would be a nice. All of the matches on here are just great opening matches, and then of course you got the Viking War Party taking on the Hooligans and
their final U.S. match.
Yep.
Like I say, shout out to the Hooligans, Mason and Devin Cutter. You know, hopefully for me, like now that they're taking off, like I said, Mason just announced he's having a kid. Congrats on that. But hopefully that means that if they're having time off, hopefully that they'd be willing to bring back their federation, the Outlaw Wrestling. Which is, if you ever got a chance to go to it, it was a blast. Like, I loved Outlaw Wrestling. But coming from my loving of hardcore and deathmatch wrestling, that's right up my alley, so.
Yep.
But, so what made you get into Anarchy?
Anarchy, I actually... So whenever they had the PWCS going on, they was actually supposed to bring in David Arquette for a show.
Yeah.
Which it was supposed, because that WrestleMania week that year, David Arquette did like this run-in on, I think it was Matt Fitchett of the Besties. So they had kind of an angle going on. It was supposed to be the headliner of that show was supposed to be Matt Fitchett versus David Arquette, but David Arquette had to pull for some reason, so it ended up being Matt Fitchett versus Eddie Kingston, which, not a bad replacement.
No, definitely more violent replacement. So I was really upset about the deal with Arquette that weekend, the WrestleMania weekend deal. So I actually remember once I seen a picture of him wandering around, like, covered up in WrestleCon. Because, like, I saw the guy there. Like, I didn't know who he was. But that's happened to me twice now. Once with him, and then at the last start... Well, I guess it's not the last StarCast. It's the last Chicago StarCast. David Benoit was walking around, and I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, I heard about him walking around, too.
But,
I was able to catch Brock Lesnar guy there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard Chris Van Vliet was there. Sorry if I butchered that name again. But I wasn't able to catch him. Or Priscilla Kelly. I think it's because I went on Thursday and Friday. I was just kind of resting up for the most of that day.
Yeah, I was going to say, I went Friday and I got to meet Priscilla. We had to wait forever for her to do her thing. I don't know if she had a match somewhere that day or something like that. But yeah, she finally got there and we got to meet her. And another person I really met that was walking around that I didn't have a ticket for was Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
So, was you the one that told me that you had a lot of trouble trying to meet Eddie?
Yeah, so I saw Eddie at Glory Pro. It was October 2018, right after they did the big All In show.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw some people had met Eddie at that show, but I just wasn't lucky enough to catch him. And then the next time he came back was that next January, and I didn't even see him come out at all or anything. But at the anniversary show, the Phoenix Rising, I think it was called, I was able to catch him talking with the besties, and I was with Big Nasty at the time, and he pointed out, he's like, "There's Eddie Kingston, you better go get him." So I just ran out.
Wait, did he say it in front of Eddie?
No, we was
okay.
we was across the room from him, and I just run over there, and he's about to head to the back. I'm just like, "Hey, Eddie, what's up? Can I get a quick selfie real quick?" He's like, "Sure." It was just really quick, but I mean, I got a picture with him, so I was happy.
Nice. Yeah, so I met him at the October show that you referenced, but
I think I was actually, I don't know, for some reason I decided to just go outside and smoke during the intermission.
Well, that was because, so here's how it went. We left early, but after intermission, or during intermission, I walked up to KLD, talked to him for a second. I told him, he's like, "Yeah, man, like, I think we're getting ready to head out." You know, we had Marco with us, so he had to get back.
Right.
And he's like, "Okay, well, let's actually leave." And I was like, "Yeah, it does, because I was really hoping Eddie Kingston would be out here, but I don't see him." And he's like, "Oh, wait, you want to meet Eddie Kingston?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to meet Eddie Kingston." And he's like, "Okay, well, watch my merch. Make sure nobody steals anything." Like, okay, cool. So I'm standing there, and I'm expecting he's going back there. And I'm assuming he's going to go talk to Eddie, and Eddie's going to say he's not coming out. And he's just going to come out and tell me that, Eddie can't do it, or Eddie's busy, or Eddie's doing something. He just can't do it. It's like, okay. And all next thing I know, a couple minutes later, here comes KLD, and right behind KLD came Eddie Kingston. And KLD's like, "Hey, this is Big Lee." And he's like, "Hey," I talked to him for a second, took a picture with him, and he just went straight to the back.
That's cool.
So I was really glad, KLD hooked me up with that. So I think there's quite a bit of these episodes where I shout out KLD, but always shout out to KLD. Dude's super great guy.
Yeah, probably one of the greatest guys I know.
Yeah, like I said, with your podcast, is like, there's not too many people in here that you meet that's good people in the wrestling business. Right. And KLD is one of them. I think we mentioned Hollister is another great person.
And then Tootie.
Yeah, big time Tootie Lynn Ramsey.
Yep.
She's going to kill me one of these days, I know it. She's going to come off and deck me for calling her big time. But, yeah, so like I said, so you got to meet, and anytime I've met Eddie, Eddie's always been super nice.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's kind of got that, hey, don't be stupid when you come talk to me, and I'll be cool with you.
Sure, yeah.
And, I mean, you got to be that way, because I've seen some interactions go pretty rough with meeting fans, especially, hosting the meet and greets and stuff like that,
Yeah, somebody told me once that they met Colt Cabana, and they brought up Scotty Goldman, and then Colt got mad about it. And I'm like, dude, you just don't say that to him,
I know an instance of like that, but I think there was a little bit more to it. I think he was also mad, and this is not me taking Colt Cabana's side on it, because I did not have the best experience with Colt, but Colt was upset that the people were selling autographs right close to where Colt was selling his own autographs, and they come over and try to get him to sign the Scotty. Was it Scotty Goldblum? Or Goldblum or something like that?
Scotty Goldman?
Goldman, yeah. So when it had his signature on it, and he was kind of upset that they were selling while he was selling.
Mm.
Which I get it. That part makes sense, but like I said, overall it wasn't the best experience with him, so.
It happens.
So you kind of talked about CCW being your home. What's some of your best experiences you had at CCW? Besides meeting Big Lee.
Oh, yeah. Back to meeting Glacier, that was probably one of my high moments. I said on the podcast we recorded earlier that...
What podcast?
My podcast.
What's your podcast?
My podcast is Four Sides.
Where can we find the Four Sides podcast?
Again, we can find that on Anchor and Spotify and SoundCloud as of this moment. Working on getting on iTunes. How's that for a plug?
You're getting there. You're
getting there, yeah.
Mick Foley taught us one thing. It's the cheap pops and the plugs.
Yes.
All right. So your favorite CCW moments
So we was saying on Four Sides that we recorded, that will be up soon, that my favorite show was probably the third Super Show. Just, I don't know. It was my birthday. I got the sucker from Joey Ryan, and I got to see Tootie kill it like she always does. And just the turnout for that show was just so great. It was on Fight TV.
Do you have a promo code for Fight TV?
No, I don't.
Don't feel bad. I have one and I don't remember it. So
yeah, people don't give me promo codes.
I think you just get it for signing up for Fight.
Oh, well, I mean,
if you haven't signed up for Fight, I can give you a promo code for it.
I mean, actually I have signed up for Fight. I probably got one of those. I just don't remember it off the top of my head because
they're crazy codes they give you.
Yeah, they are.
But yeah, man, that Super Show 3, there was a lot of stuff that went into that show. Like we talked about on the Four Sides podcast, I really felt like more people should have been into that the Tootie match with Kelly Klein.
Yes,
Kelly Klein was great to talk with. I think I spent most of the main event talking with her. And her, I guess now are in the process of being ex-husband, BJ Whitmer.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised. I didn't see many people go up and talk to him, and that was kind of a surprise to me.
Wait, he was there?
Yeah.
Really?
You didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. Remind me after we get done with this, and I'll show you the picture. But yeah, he was there.
Well, shit.
Yeah. And nobody, it was crazy. Hardly, I didn't see anybody go and talk to him.
Yeah, and then anyways, the Joey Ryan surprise, that was also big, and I don't know, it's just, I guess my best way of describing it is probably one of my favorite CCW shows that's been put on. But when I talk about CCW and the good moments, I think the good moments have just consisted of just building relationships with people like Big Nasty or Noah Hudson or even you and Jason and Ken and then the wrestlers.
Oh, we don't put over Ken on this podcast. He didn't show up for this episode.
Hashtag no show Ken.
Right, hashtag no show Ken.
But it didn't go down like that, did it?
It did.
He no-showed you.
He no-showed.
Oh my God. Come on, Ken.
No, he was like, well, I don't think we're going to be able to make it. So we're like, what time are you going to get here? And I didn't get a response back till the next morning.
Oh, wow.
So.
Yeah, but anyways, just getting to know some of the wrestlers on a personal level, like Austin Lane, Brandon Barbwire, Jackson Crowley, who another one of the greatest guys, actually told me he listened to my podcast after the last CCW show. He told me he really enjoyed it and stuff. And
did you tell him you was surprised he could get internet in Mississippi?
No, I didn't. I thought he was from Salem, Massachusetts.
That's even worse.
Another word that I just butchered there.
Massachusetts?
Yeah. Try saying that 3 times.
I barely say it once.
Right?
So I had to slow it down.
Right?
If you ever hear me slow down to talk, that means I'm struggling to say a word. So, but yeah. So no good things with Otis.
I don't really know Otis that well.
So what you're trying to say is you don't like Otis.
It's not like I don't.
Well, you saying that you didn't put out any effort to meet Otis.
I mean, I never really. I see Otis after the shows and stuff. I mean, I don't think he. I think he used to be on my Facebook, but when I made my new one, I couldn't get him to add me. But I just don't really know a lot about him to.
Well, shout out to Otis if you're listening. Otis is a big supporter of the podcast. Much love. I hope to have him on here soon. So,
I mean, I like his.
Even though Caleb Carter apparently has beef with you.
I don't have beef. Oh my God.
I think he said he's going to try to knife you in the parking lot.
No. I'm not like that.
Right. He'd take a baseball bat, not a knife.
I will say that the work he's doing with Cash Borden right now has been.
Shout out to Cash Borden.
Love Cash Borden. The match they had at One Night Riot.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. Good, hard-hitting match. I think Otis and Cash work really well together.
Good. Yeah. Cash is Cash is a great worker. Swan's been waiting to get to CCW for a long time, so glad he's finally there.
Yeah.
So he continues to put in good work, and I guess he has a title shot coming up at the Super Show. Right?
Yeah, he won the 30-man and woman one.
Yeah.
Won the right match. It's hard for me to say.
30-man, woman.
30-man, or 29 men, 1 woman.
Well, I think it's 28 man, 1 woman, and 1 low-life slump named Slammer.
Oh my god.
What? Slammer Mania.
Slammer Mania.
Put that up there with the coronavirus.
I love you, Slammer.
I'm ashamed of you, Slammer. You turned your back on the fans. You know, you should be ashamed of yourself. Trying to be all hill in Hollywood.
Hey, don't turn your back on the Wolfpack.
That's right, you might wind up in a body bag. That's the next lyric to the song.
Oh, I never got that far. I never.
At this point, Caleb looks dumbfounded, like, wait, what? But yeah, the next lyric of the theme song is, you might wind up in a body bag.
All right.
But,
I learn things every day. I don't know. I just like I don't always pay attention to the lyrics. Just the beat to that song is just so dope. It's like that's all I.
You know what's not dope though?
What's not? The Slammer.
Slammer Mania.
Slammer Mania.
More like Sellout Mania. What?
Kayfabe is amazing.
Kayfabe?
Kayfabe. What's this kayfabe?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Who is this kayfabe person? Or this kayfabe lady that everybody always talks about?
Just like Heenan said, you know, he's told everybody how terrible a person Hogan was. And I've been telling everybody how terrible a person Slammer is.
So are you Bobby Heenan then?
No, remember I'm going to be Vince Russo.
Oh,
Bash at the Beach 2000.
Yeah, Bash at the Beach 2000.
And you're going to be Jarrett with the dollar guitar.
Yep.
And you're going to low down, and Slammer's going to pin you in then.
Yep, I'm going to go Family Dollar after we get done recording. I'm not even going to go Dollar Tree. I'm going to go Family Dollar.
Oh, man, the Family Dollar. Is that place still in business?
Yeah, apparently.
I didn't know if it was or not. I knew the Fred shut down over there.
Yeah.
So y'all if y'all didn't know, here in Cape Girardeau, our Fred shut down.
I love Fred's.
They had some interesting stuff at Fred's.
Yeah. They sure did.
So I'm going to put you in the hot seat. Since you didn't too well the hot seat, talk about Slammer and how he turned his back on his Slammer maniacs. Shame on you, Slammer. But, so you said about the good times at CCW. Let's hear about some of your least favorite CCW moments.
My least favorite CCW moments?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
was one of them when Slammer turned?
that was actually kind of a fun moment to watch, actually. But I guess some of the relationships that I've built going to CCW shows and stuff, just seeing people come and go, just knowing that, you know, nothing's gonna last forever. Nobody's gonna be around forever. Like I've seen people come and go that I've grown close to, like Barry and CeeLo, and just seeing that they're not as much around anymore that's probably.
Well, I mean, that's two different situations, you know.
Yeah.
Shout out to Barry if you're listening to this. Much love.
Yes.
We still got to get lunch sometime.
Yeah.
So, and then I won't acknowledge the second part.
Yeah, we won't.
So, you know, whatever happens with that happened.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's, you know, bad life choices.
Yeah.
But anyways, so, I mean, that's the only bad situation.
I mean, there's probably been, like, we was talking about Colt Cabana earlier. But,
yeah.
Like, I've gotten over that, but, like, I guess my experience with him wasn't the greatest either, but...
When he gave away the ending to the match?
Oh, yeah, did he?
Yeah. And apparently there's people in the front row that was telling us, it was like, yeah, he got out there and he tells us, he's like, I'm not getting back in the ring because the guy's getting ready to win the belt. I'm like, lovely.
Yeah. I don't know. I try not to look at the bad times. I try to look mostly at the good times because overall it's been good.
So, with your love of indie wrestling, and you've done the posters, you've done the graphics, so the next thing you're getting involved in, tell me about this a little bit here. You're starting to ring announcing, because this came as a surprise to me.
Yeah, so last Saturday, actually...
Because I thought you was going on a date with Big Nasty.
Really? What made you think that?
I forgot what he said, but he put a comment in there.
Oh, when he said, that's my nasty lover?
Yeah.
Yeah, but back to the ring announcing. Back to the ring announcing.
So what, I thought you're not going to put over the nasty lovers gimmick?
I will in a minute. Let me talk about the ring announcing. But I think it was that same Wednesday night I got a message from Austin Lane. I won't use his shoot name on here. But he was basically asking me if I wanted to come down and give ring announcing a try. And honestly, I've known in the back of my head it was something that I wanted to try. But I was just kind of nervous about it. Like, you know, I always have these nerves like, am I going to be good at it? I'm going to screw up or whatever. So I was thinking about saying no, but I had to convince myself that, you know, these opportunities may not come around again. So I tried it, and of course there's things I would have done differently had I gone
not wore
back.
the shirt and tie.
Yeah, that was a nice shirt and tie.
The Goodwill special.
Got that at Walmart. Thank you very much.
Well, you overpaid. You could have got it at the Goodwill special.
I'm not cheap.
I am.
I mean, I am cheap sometimes, but...
Maybe surprised having my lunch breaks. Like, we'll spend hitting up the thrift stores. Seeing what bargains we could find. So...
Yeah, I think I was a little pressed for time that day, and it's like, I knew what I wanted, so I just went and got it.
I gotcha.
But I will say that Jackson Walmart, if you're from the Cape area, Jackson Walmart does not sell ties.
Really?
They no longer sell ties.
I wonder why.
Because that's the one that's closer to where I live, so I usually go over there. I got the dress shirt, was looking around, and I was like, where's all the ties? And one of the workers was like, oh, we don't sell ties here anymore. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, what kind of Walmart sells dress shirts without ties?
Yeah?
But they had ties at Cape Walmart, so I got lucky there.
I was just trying to figure out why one Walmart... I thought you meant like none of the Walmarts sold them anymore. But it's just the...
Just the Jackson one that I know of. I don't know why they don't sell them anymore, but they just don't. But anyways, I guess the ring announcing thing, just one of those dream come true things for me.
So is it a one-off, or are you going to go do it again?
If they'll have me back, I'll go do it again. I think they talked about wanting to bring me back. Their next show is February 15th, so next Saturday.
In Hoxie,
Arkansas.
across from the Dollar General.
Yep.
I saw Nikki Lane post something about it being across the Dollar General.
Yeah, it's good. It was good to see. It's good to see her too. I haven't seen I've seen her at CCW shows, but I haven't really seen her in a long time.
I gotcha.
Like in the ring, working.
So my big question is there more than one Dollar General in Hoxie?
Not that I saw.
Okay.
I know they got them every 15 miles, but like, I don't know. I was just focused on getting to the show. I wasn't really.
I may have to make it down there to that show. I got to see what's going on next weekend.
All right, yeah.
Because there's certain talent that works down there that I'm a very big fan of.
The Hustlers.
No. I said talent. You know.
Trent Daniels.
Man, you do not know what the word talent means. But no, there's a guy that works down there from time to time. His name's Reggie Montgomery. And if you do not know Reggie Montgomery, you need to do some research and find out. He's got a great gimmick. So, it's a gimmick that I think could probably only get over in Arkansas. But I love it. And actually, Austin had him cut a promo and send me. Or he cut a promo against me, and it was pretty great. But, so, he is a African-American male who comes out to the ring, and usually in the towns that he works, there, a lot of the crowd is primarily Southern white folk. So, of course, he works heel. So, what he does is when he comes out there, he throws crackers at the fans. So that makes me pop hard when I see this. So I was talking to Austin about this. And he said, well, the best part is when there's other African Americans in the crowd. And I said, why is that? Because it's like, it's funny, you could be back there and you can see, because he walks around the ringside doing this. And he'll see, one of the African Americans in the crowd will see him, and they're all laughing at the white people. And so he goes to give them, like, the fans go to give Reggie a high five, and Reggie won't do it. Reggie says, I have something for you too. So then he pulls out a graham cracker and throws at him.
Oh no.
Yes. So,
oh my God.
So shout out to Reggie Montgomery if you're listening to this. You know, I definitely need to make it down there to Hoxie to come see another Reggie Montgomery. The Ebony Ivory, or is it the Ebony Heartthrob or something like that?
Something like that.
But yeah, he's a great talent.
Yeah, it's February 15th, this next Saturday. Tickets are only $5. So.
Look at that, you're learning the plug there.
Yeah.
And if you come out to the show, it's only $5 to get a picture with Caleb Carter, host of the Four Sides podcast.
$5? So, you remember that USA Championship Wrestling?
Oh, I was going to get to it.
Yeah, well, but I went to that show with Jerry Lawler, and there's this guy, or actually there's this stable that was taking pictures or wherever. They're a heel stable. And I was like, hey, can I get a picture with you guys? And they're like, it's $5. Look at all this gold. And honestly, I don't even remember the guys' names, but I know they was trying to charge me for a picture because they were heels.
Mm-hmm.
But...
So you paid it?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
No, I didn't. Sadly. Well, maybe sadly.
Then, yeah, because Jerry, how was meeting Jerry?
Jerry was cool. I enjoyed meeting Jerry. It was a dream come true for my dad because that's somebody that my dad grew up watching.
Right.
So that was just a good father-son moment.
I'm assuming he was a lot cheaper to meet there than he was in Chicago.
Oh yeah, he was like $40 in Chicago, but so it was $5 to get the picture with the King, and then it was $5 for 8x10 to get it autographed. And then we had that 8x10 with him and Bill Dundee. He signed that for free. So
did Bill Dundee already sign it?
Yeah, Bill already. We bought it
because I was going to say I remember that Bill Dundee was at the show.
We bought it from Bill, and then we got it signed by Jerry for free. So overall, we spent $10 meeting Jerry Lawler, which not bad at all.
No, not bad.
Considering he was like $40 at a convention, which that's a convention. You gotta pay for your spot. So
and everything's higher in Chicago. Then.
Right. $13 for a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah,
if you buy the cheap ones.
Yeah, that's true. But hey, in Illinois, you could buy something a whole lot different than cigarettes now.
What's that?
Buy that sticky green.
Sticky. Oh yeah.
Oh.
I thought you was gonna go for another plug there.
I don't know if I'm selling anything in Illinois.
Oh.
Am I selling something in Illinois I forgot?
You might be sometime.
Might be sometime. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
That's right. 2020 is still young.
It is.
Speaking of 2020 still being young, I lost my train of thought there. That's what happens time. No, 2020. So what's on the agenda for you coming up 2020?
Well, like I said, we got Southern Elite Championship Wrestling. Might be doing some ring announcing for them. As far as shows go, we've got the CCW show in Charleston. It's on Leap Day, actually, February 29th.
That's right. Not February 30th, but February 29th.
Is there such thing as
No.
February 30th? No, didn't think so. That's actually going to be a double shot weekend for me, because after that day is March 1st. It's Glory Pro's anniversary.
That's right, with our good friend KLD taking on Nick Gage.
Yep. And also, I forgot to say, at the CCW show, it'll be CCW's champion Otis Crowley taking on former ECW original. Well, not former ECW. The ECW original. And current Impact Wrestling star, the War Machine Rhino.
Rawr, gore!
Which is somebody I've been wanting to meet for a long time. So
yeah.
that's going to be another one of those bucket list items for me.
Well, I'm pretty excited. I'm excited to see Rhino. But I'm also excited, like I said, the next day for Glory Pro anniversary.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I've never met Chris Dickinson.
Yeah, I seen him wrestle once at Anarchy. He wasn't able to come out for pictures and stuff because he had that GCW show in Jersey to do the next day. So, same with Nick Gage. That was the Battle of Spalding show, actually. The one where, like, if you go back and watch on IWTV, like, half my ass is showing.
Yep.
Use promo code Anarchy. I think it's Anarchy or it's STL Anarchy, but you get 20 free days on IWTV. Lots of great wrestling on there. You got Glory Pro Wrestling. You've got
Southern Underground Pro.
Yep, that's another place I want to make it to sometime.
Yeah.
Black Label Pro.
Shout out to Mikey at Black Label Pro.
Yep.
He probably doesn't listen to this, but if you do, shout out to Mikey.
Yeah, GCW is actually gonna start putting some stuff on there, right?
Yeah, they got 4 shows on there already.
IWA Mid-South is running on there now.
Yeah, for the time being at least. I read a thing from Ian, and I guess the door's been down. So I think in April, they're going to start going from weekly to monthly shows. And I think the show they had tonight, as we're recording, they had to cut some talent off of it just because some losses on the door.
Yeah.
That's that time of the year, man. People are afraid to travel.
Yeah.
And, for us, it's like 4 or 5 hours to get to Louisville. Plus, Louisville has that big, I don't know what they call it now, LDB Fest. It used to be called Midwest Blood Fest, but it's a big hardcore music festival. So I feel like it probably takes a lot of the crowd as well. But, we got that. And, once again, forgot the Anarchy show.
Yeah, the Anarchy show that we talked about a little earlier.
So that's February 21st in the Alton.
Might be going to Dynamo Pro Wrestling the next day. I'm still debating on that. We got Pro Wrestling Epic on March 7th featuring AEW star Priscilla Kelly.
That's right.
You can hit up...
Everyone knows I have a huge crush on Priscilla Kelly.
Yes, we know. You can hit up Leon Mephisto. Sorry if I butchered that name again. Hit him up for tickets. He's on Facebook.
And on Instagram.
And
you can DM the Pro Wrestling Epic Instagram for tickets.
Oh, yeah.
They've already DM'd me and informed me of this.
I'm behind on the whole Instagram thing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Like, I tried it once, like, maybe 6 years ago, and it just wasn't my thing, but I might get back on it sometime.
See, what's really good with the podcast, see, if you create the Instagram, you can link the Instagram to the Facebook like page.
Oh, yeah.
So that when you post to there, it automatically posts to the Facebook like page.
That's cool.
And it doesn't butcher it like it does if you try to post it from Instagram to Twitter.
Yeah. CCW is running in Delta in March 21st.
That's right.
And there's actually, is it that week or is it another day in March where Dolph Ziggler's coming to the...
Dolph Ziggler's coming sometime in March, and so is Foley.
Yeah, Foley. I just found out about Foley actually because he posted something on Facebook, and I was like, because I've met Mick Foley before, and he's one of my favorites that I've ever met. I was like, Mick, you should come to Cape Girardeau sometime. It's a growing wrestling city. And then I think it was Justin Penrod. He replied and he said, "Dude, Mick's already coming." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, it's on the website." And I looked.
Nice.
So that announcement must have gotten past me somehow.
It did me too. I think they announced it on the website.
Okay.
And people that were looking at tickets found it first.
Yeah, I just look on the Facebook page mostly for announcements. So yeah, if you go to the Dolph Ziggler show, you apparently get a coupon or something to get, what is it, $5 off your CCW ticket for March?
It's something like that. I'd actually forgotten about that promo.
Yeah, and then the next weekend after that, you got another St. Louis Anarchy show with, so far, it's going to be the Besties taking on Kurt Stallion and Nick Gage.
Yep.
So that'll be a good match.
And also, don't want to forget to put over, if you're in the West Virginia area, March 21st, it's IWA East Coast Night for Necro. It's a benefit show for the Necro Butcher. So make sure if you're in that Nitro, West Virginia area, make sure you hit up that IWA East Coast page and get your tickets for that. And if you're in the Southeast Missouri area that night and you can't make it, make sure you make it out to Delta for CCW's show out there, which will potentially probably be March Malice.
Probably. Like, I don't know what else it would be.
Yeah.
March Malice 3, Cage Chaos 4.
Something like that.
Yeah. Or how are they going to fit a cage in the Delta?
Well, yeah, I don't think they'll put the cage in the Delta, yeah.
Yeah.
Then after that, I mean, you do have, hopefully we'll have a ticket announcement soon for CCW Super Show for April 25th at the Arena Building.
Yeah, that whole weekend's going to be incredible for me because, like, you've got Cape Comic Con, you've got the Super Show, and then actually on April 26th, I'm going to the Fozzy concert in Nashville. And I got the
East Nashville,
the Basement East. Yeah, and I got the VIP package, so finally get to meet Chris Jericho, hopefully. Likely. Very likely.
I mean, when did the Fozzy one he did? Like, he came out there, he met people.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I wasn't sure if it was going to be another one of those cardboard cutouts like at StarCast.
Oh, no. No, I think he probably takes the music a little bit more serious.
Yeah, I would hope so, but yeah, just...
I think because the venue sells it,
yeah,
they definitely have to take it more seriously.
Oh, yeah.
So besides shows, what else you got going on in 2020? You continue to make the graphics?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to keep doing that. Podcast is going as good as I think it can right now. Well, maybe not as good as I think. It's going great, though.
Well, you got Big Lee as a guest on there, so now it's getting even better.
Yeah, and then I'm looking to get some other guests on there sometime. I talked with Jason, and I'm just saying this because he said it on your episode. I'll be going in early for Chaos in Charleston, too, to get some interviews with a couple people. So.
Who you get an interview with?
I think it's going to be your favorite guy, Slammer.
Oh, God.
And then probably try to get Trent Daniels, too. I think we set up something. Might try to get Venom if I've got time, but we'll see. We'll just see what happens. I think I know for sure for Slammer and Trent Daniels.
Oh man!
And then I've been talking with James Brady as well, trying because he wants to come on the show and stuff. It's just a lot of people want to come on the show, and being that I've only been doing this for a month, it's just amazing to see how fast this has transpired. Like, I started a podcast at the beginning of the year, and they thought apparently I sounded so great that I got to do it got me a ring announcing thing. Like, I'm just lost for words. It's just so awesome.
Hey man, you want to see something really awesome. Wait till you start looking at your dashboard for Anchor and start seeing where people actually listen to it at.
Yeah.
Like, it's a surreal thing. Like, I looked at mine the other day, and I had people in, like, UK, Germany listening to it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, wait, people actually, like, listen to this?
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, man, I appreciate you being a guest on here. So, tell us where we can find your podcast and where we can find you at. Besides at the other end of the couch here.
Yeah, so I got a Facebook page called Four Sides. You can like that. I'm on Twitter at Four Sides IV. Make sure you type that all lowercase. On Anchor, of course. And I'm on Spotify. I got SoundCloud that I upload to as well, but I may discontinue that depending on how many plays I get, because they only allow you to upload so much, and then you have to start paying.
Or deleting, yeah.
Yeah, paying or deleting. So I'll just have to see how over SoundCloud gets. Lee's going to help me get it on iTunes somehow, so...
I'm going to show him how to click the button.
Yeah, he's going to show me how to... I've always been an Android person. I'm not Apple tech. I'm not...
So don't judge him by his poor choices there.
Yeah.
He's like, well, now I'm at lost words.
The best place you can find me is at a wrestling show, you know?
At his physical location, which is...
The Big Lee's Big Boom Boom Room.
Big Lee's Boom Boom
That's
Room.
where I'm at right now. I don't know how much longer I'll be here, but...
No, you have to put out your like physical home address for the fans to come and find you.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, like I said, appreciate having you on here. Make sure you go out and support the Four Sides podcast. Check them out there. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, rate, and review this podcast episode. Make sure you do the same for the Four Sides podcast. Like I said, my name is Big Lee. You can find me on the Instagram and the Twitter at BigLee756. You can find us on the Big Lee's World social media at Big Lee's World on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, requests for the podcast, you can always email them to me at bigleesworld@gmail.com. Like I said, you can find the podcast at bigleesworld.com or your favorite podcast apps as well. And like I said, I really just appreciate all the love and support you've showed us over these past few episodes. And I hope you continue to support the podcast. And Caleb, once again, I appreciate you being on here as a guest.
Absolutely. And
we're going to call it a night. So as always, like the way I like to end this is 2 scoops of whoop, whoop, whoop.